Happy New Year, and welcome back to another episode of the IPO Exchange. As always, I'm your host, Nick Accordino, and today we're coming to you from Dallas, Texas, home of our beloved Leadership Center at Deloitte University. On today's episode, we'll recap an incredible 2025 and take a sneak peek into how 2026 is shaping up for the IPO market. We'll also welcome Adam Reilly, National Managing Partner of Deloitte's Mergers, Acquisition, and Restructuring Services practice, to talk about how the M&A market performed in 2025, as well as what he expects in 26. But before we jump in, we would be remiss if we didn't take a moment to say thank you to all of you that made 2025 such a successful year.
To all our clients who went public in 2025, congratulations on an incredible achievement during such a dynamic year for the IPO market. 2025 was an inspiring year thanks to the ingenuity, dedication, and vision of so many great companies.
It's an honor to play a part in your story and celebrate these incredible milestones together.
We appreciate the confidence you lent us as your advisor during such a big moment in your organization's journey.
We are very honored for the opportunity to work with all of our clients as their gatekeeper to the capital markets.
Transactions rebounded in 2025, and it was truly inspiring to see our clients access the capital markets.
Thank you for continuing to trust Deloitte as your advisor of choice in this landmark chapter of your story. We look forward to a remarkable market in 2026 and can't wait to see what you all achieve this year and beyond.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations.
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 From all of us, thank you and congratulations.
2026 is going to be remarkable indeed, and we can't wait to see what it has in store. But before we jump into 2026, let's take a quick look back at how the IPO market performed in 2025 and how things shaped up in the final quarter of the year. If we were to pick a single word to describe the capital markets in 2025, that word would be resilient. Geopolitics kept many companies from raising capital for over 5 months of the year. We saw the markets overcome traumatic headwinds during periods when the markets are traditionally most active, and saw more capital raised in periods that typically see less activity, such as the summer months of July and August, as well as December. 2025 started strong for IPO market activity, but slowed in April after a spike in volatility driven by economic uncertainty. And as the market stabilized in May, deals began to pick up the pace until activity peaked with many high-profile IPOs in the summer, resulting in a landmark Q3. The fourth quarter of 2025 told a story that was similar to the rest of the year. Much like the resiliency shown in the summer, and despite some of the largest geopolitical headwinds we have faced in years, capital markets surged in December, raising over $7.7 billion, making it one of the strongest single months we've seen in years. The last quarter of 2025 saw 45 IPOs and $14 billion in proceeds raised. In total, 2025 saw proceeds equate to a staggering $44 billion, which is more than any year since 2021 and more than the 20-year average. AI, fintech, and even some less common players like aerospace and defense dominated the IPO conversation, while high-profile unicorns drove IPO proceeds. Meanwhile, the growing demand for AI and digital assets was more evident than ever. Truly an amazing year. Now let's turn our attention to 2026. Based on what we've seen so far, this year is already shaping up to be monumental. At the end of the year, the public company pipeline contained more than 190 companies expecting to raise a combined total of over $6 billion in proceeds. In fact, some of the largest private companies in the world have already announced their intention to go public in 2026. If this occurs, 2026 has the potential to have one of the hottest IPO markets ever when considering capital raised. So let's buckle up and get ready for the action as this year unfolds. Now that 2025 is in the rearview mirror and we have a view of where we're heading in 26, let's sit down with Adam Reilly to get his perspective on the M&A landscape and how it may impact the IPO markets. All right, now we're here with Adam Reilly. Adam, welcome to the show.
Great to see you, Nick.
Hey, it's been a while. Good to see you again. Let's get right into it. Talk to us a little bit about what you saw from an M&A lens as far as 2025 goes, and what do you expect for 2026?
Yeah, well, we came into 2025, a lot of market participants were very bullish on the M&A market, and we certainly didn't see that in the first half. But the second half did come back strong, and we saw a huge increase in value of M&A transactions, really driven by very large deals. We had a 31% increase in over $1 billion deals, driving the value side of the M&A market. But the volume side, the number of deals getting done, actually didn't move that much year over year. It's only up a couple of percentage points. So as we look into 2026, we're trying to see, well, will that volume pick up now? Will the appetite to put large capital at risk drive also just more deals getting done as well? And so that's what we're kind of expecting to see, but we'll have to see how it plays out here in 26.
Yeah, well, we're certainly hoping for the volume on the IPO side. Speaking of which, obviously high expectations for the IPO markets in 2026. Talk to me a little bit about how hot IPO market, how does that impact, what's the cross section of an IPO market with M&A?
Yeah. Well, I think at first glance, you'd have to say that both markets rely on risk appetite of investors to put capital at risk. Sure. And so those things are highly correlated. And the other part that we see oftentimes is people looking at dual track processes where they will put a company up and they will look at going public in an IPO or selling in an M&A transaction. And we're seeing a lot of those take place right now.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of our clients come that way. And I think it has a lot to do with just the type of companies that are going public, much different than maybe what we saw in 2021, 2022 timeframe. Getting back to the M&A market, what are the kind of key trends that you expect to see as we head into 2026?
Well, I think there is a lot of access to capital and different sources of capital than we've seen in previous booms. So we've seen a huge amount of private debt capital raised in funds, and we expect those to be a significant source of capital used in transactions in 2026 and beyond. So that's one of the aspects I think we're seeing. And then we're seeing the equity markets have been buoyed, and so that will give corporate clients a lot of currency to invest in deals.
Yeah. All right, Adam, so 2025 certainly saw some ups and some downs as far as the market goes. When we think about 2026, talk to us a little bit about what you expect from a headwinds and tailwinds perspective from an M&A lens. How does that potentially impact how deals are going to get done?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I'll pull out my crystal ball to see what I can come up with. I think as we look at the headwinds that we're facing now, there's continued volatility, and volatility is tough to deal with in any deal-making environment. It causes disconnect in what buyers and sellers expect in their deals. And so that's a challenge. And that volatility, whether it's caused by trade policy changes or geopolitical tensions is a challenge. And we expect that to continue. On the tailwind side, I'd say, look, interest rates, while still high, have come down. And I think that is causing a little bit of an ability to fund more in different deals. So I think that's a really good thing. And I think as we talked about the risk appetite, we've seen it sort of increase over time, and people being willing to deal with some of those headwinds in a different way, I think is causing, their ability to actually fight through those kind of challenges and get deals done is a real positive.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully we see a lot of that resilience again here in 2026, right? All right, Adam, last question. Everybody's favorite topic right now, AI, technology. How do you see AI factoring into the M&A landscape? How does that play out here in 2026?
Yeah, it's definitely top of mind for everybody. So there's three key things that we're looking at from an M&A perspective in AI. First one is how people are leveraging AI and advanced analytic tools in doing their deals. Every year it's increased, and we expect that trend to continue significantly. It's helping people make better decisions faster, and that's a really impactful thing in the early stages of a deal particularly. Second is what deals are getting done. So people are looking for AI targets that have either IP or talented engineers that can help them accelerate them on their own AI journey. And the third impact is people are starting to factor in ways to capture synergies post-deal from leveraging AI tools, whether that's allowing them to attack a new market or to take costs out, is really impactful on the deal and can allow them to pay more for the companies that they're acquiring, which allows them to do more deals.
Well, it's going to be certainly a story we follow in all of 26. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Absolutely.
Well, Adam, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you coming on and the great insights. Hopefully this won't be your last visit to the IPO Exchange.
It's been great to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks, Nick.
And there we have it, the first IPO Exchange episode of 2026. Thanks again to Adam for helping us kick off the new year with such great insights. And a big thanks to our leaders for stopping by and expressing their appreciation. We have a great year ahead of us on the IPO Exchange, and we look forward to having you be a part of it. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. let's
too hard. Like, risk of injury sign.
You signed the waiver.
I did. It's all good.
That's a bloody too.